good night. Hey everyone, doing tonight. God is good, and God is good all the time. Okay, we gonna this will continue on trusting God while you're being tested. Okay, we already talked about Job. Now Job went through all kind of stuff, but Job never cursed God, and he still was trusting God in the process. Now we're gonna look at three bravery men. I preached on that once before. Now you're gonna come from Daniel chapter 3, verse 1. Now you remember these three men, this king had built images of gold. It was 90 feet high and 9 feet wide. And so they wanted these three men, they wanted everybody to bow down to their God, they made. Now see these three men, they worship God. And they said they would not worship any other God besides their own God. But this king had wanted everybody to worship under him. They wanted them to bow down. These three guys, they were so brave. They would not bow down. So they said, if you don't bow down and worship our God, we're gonna throw you in the high furnace. So they refused and they got thrown in the high furnace. So the three guys told them, our God gonna save us. He said, our God gonna save us. He said, even if our God don't save us, we still not gonna worship your God. So they got thrown in the fire. So guess what? Next thing you know, God saved them. When they came out with no fire smell. They had no fire smell. They came out unharmed. They robe, none of that was burned. So they just came out, just walking out like it was nothing. And their furnace was real hot. So so they worship. They said they served. So they was willing to give up their life rather than to serve someone else God. They said we serve only our God, no one else. So now this package was about trusting God in your trials. And sometimes that can be hard because sometimes your trials can come from pain and suffering. And sometimes it can be a long period of time, but then in that time you still have to trust. Sometimes you ain't gonna understand why you're going through it. But in the process we have to trust. And these three bravery guys, they was willing to go in that furnace and get all burnt up. Now they didn't know they were gonna actually get saved. They said God gonna save them, but said even if He don't, we still wasn't gonna worship their God. And Joe just lost everything, and he was so unrecognized. When his friends did come and visit him, they didn't know who he was, but he still was trusting God. So we all might get burnt out. We all may feel like it's a curse or a blessing, but in the process, we have to still trust God. So I hope y'all enjoy this word. And remember, never give up in your trials. No matter how it look, trust God in the process. Because sometimes your faith is being tested. Because when you're in a trial, when you're in your storm, you can't help but to build up your faith. So I hope you enjoy this word and have a blessed night.